Hello, everybody, and welcome to Back and Forth. I'm your host, Gecko Man, and sitting beside me is our co-host, Rogue Gambit, the man who knows that trespassing is against the law. Punk.
Batman does not eat nachos.
All right.
I think we all know what we're doing today. That's right. Top 5 DC characters.
What? All right. Know that this was very difficult for me to do. Oh, my goodness.
Why was it so difficult?
Because I realized that I know very little of the DC characters.
Oh.
So it was hard for me to find characters that I liked.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was like similar. It was like, I don't know. It's not that I don't know a lot of DC characters, it's that I don't know enough about some of the DC characters to know how much, like, how they compare to other ones that I don't know that much about, you know?
Yeah, sure. All right. Well, then, who shall start today?
Well, I'm going to start with some honorable mentions that almost made it into my top 5.
All right.
We'll start with John Constantine.
And why is that?
He's just super fun. He's like he's very similar to, like, personality wise, like a Tony Stark, Doctor Strange type, where he's got a good enough of an ego, you know, and like magic based powers are always super fun, and he's just like pretty much, besides knowing magic, he's a very normal guy. Well, he's very intelligent, but like he's not more durable than, like, you know, any random human. So it's fun to watch him like battle against supernatural beings like that. In the same vein, I really like, oh my goodness, I'm blanking on his name, but the demon that he helps a lot, the dark blood.
Dark Blood. Is that his name?
Yeah, I think that.
I feel like that's from Invincible.
I don't know. Anyways, that demon suit that always talks and rhymes.
Yeah.
I love that dude.
Oh man, I know his little rhyming, what he rhymes when he comes into play.
When he calls his name. The demon
Entragon. Entragon. That's his name.
Anyways.
Dark Blood is the demon in Invincible.
Great. Do you have any honorable mentions?
I do have a couple. I do have a couple. I have 2 honorable mentions. We'll start with Mr. Terrific.
Oh.
I actually really enjoyed him in a lot of the shows that I've seen him in and the stuff he does, especially, and just know I actually do not like this movie, but he was really fun. Him personally, just him as a character in that movie was really, really cool. Injustice.
Okay.
Yeah. The way he like basically told Superman no was so cool. I like Mr. Terrific. He is
really fun.
He's a fun character, yeah. That's about it for Mr. Terrific.
All right. I'll go with the fan favorite, Booster Gold.
Oh man, I hate Booster Gold.
I hate it too, but he has to be in there because, like,
no, he doesn't.
Because he's so bad, he's good. You know, like.
Listen, when I was looking at Heroes, I saw Booster Gold, and he looked like a war-torn version of Booster Gold.
There's a lot of different versions of him, right? So he like travels back from the future. So there's different versions of him in different comic and TV shows and movies and stuff. And he's just always he's fun. He's just like, because a lot of times he gets in like Justice League or Batman Brave and the Bold, he just is such a dichotomy from like normal characters. It's just refreshing and fun.
True. I can see that. I can see that.
This little bot guy. It's like, it's my tongue.
Is this another name that we're just gonna remember down the road?
What's your other one?
My other one is actually gonna be, and this might hurt you a little bit, but it's gonna be Aqualad.
Okay.
He's a really cool character.
Yep.
Like he's like in Young Justice.
Yep.
Very fun, very cool until the last season.
Well, when the show was good, he was good.
Yeah,
as the show got worse, he got worse.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really like how deep his character is.
Yeah. I especially loved him when he was
learning to become a leader.
Yeah,
Anyways,
exactly.
anyways.
No, exactly.
Oh.
That's exactly what I was about to say. We're reading minds here.
Yeah, he is super fun. I really like it. I love water-based powers. So.
Yeah, water powers, especially his water powers.
Yeah, he was also an honorable mention of mine. Didn't quite make it in. And I guess my last one will be a little, maybe one that a lot of you haven't heard of, but Steel.
Oh, I know him.
He is, I guess people that are paying attention to the modern DC might know him just because there's a version of him in the Stargirl show.
Yep, and he also shows up in Reign of the Supermen.
Right. But he's actually a very, very, very old hero. He shows up in, I think his first appearance is in one of the first comics I ever read, which was Superman 3 or 4.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, so he's a very, very old character. And I've read a lot of comics with him in him. I really like his character. And yeah, he was definitely the closest. I almost put him in my top 5.
Wow. I
love him in every show he's shown up in. I really like his humor. I really like his powers. Anyways, you have to understand who he is.
Yeah,
I don't want to get into it, but I really like. A lot of people think he's like a cop out Iron Man, but
I can
much more than that.
Yeah, so the reason I was thinking about putting him in my honorable mentions, but I decided not to put him in at all because I know just the very bare minimum of what he is. So, like, I decided do not have enough information on this guy to know if I should put him in.
Another honorable mention I just thought of: Wildcat. Love that guy.
Oh, Wildcat! That's right.
I like how what I like about him and dislike about him is kind of the same thing. And that's why he could never make it into my top 5. But they retcon a lot of things to like make him more interesting. Yeah, I like that like legend it creates about him, where like he's supposedly trained Batman. He's supposedly trained Black Canary. All these different people that like. Originally, when they came out, he didn't, right? But they like retconned it. It just makes his character really fun, and he's just like a no nonsense guy.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's fun.
Okay.
All right. I think we can get into our top 5. You want to go first?
I guess I will. My number 5 is going to be Raven.
Oh, that's a really good one.
Yeah, Raven is such a good character. She's a very interesting, has a very interesting kind of like a story to her from what I've seen in the movies / TV shows. Yeah. The most interesting I've ever seen her in is one of the Justice League movies, Teen Titans versus the Justice League.
Yeah. She was very good in that one.
Oh yeah. Absolutely love her in it.
Yeah.
The reason she's not higher is because I'm not the biggest fan of her powers, but at the same, it's like you said, her power. The reason I like her and put her in the top 5 is the kind of the same reason that I don't like her. Yeah, kind of thing. Her powers, well, yes, I like them, just don't make sense to me. But I don't know much about her. So, yeah. What about you?
All right. Well, we'll talk about her a little later.
Okay.
At number 5, I have Blue Beetle. Jaime Reyes. Not the other Blue Beetles. There's a lot of different Blue Beetles out there, of course.
Would you say any of the other Blue Beetles would make it?
The original Blue Beetle, I don't remember all their names, but the original Blue Beetle is a very fun character. I just don't know enough about him to put him in there, or like an honorable mention. And then like all the other Blue Beetles, like I don't know very little about, but they're all interesting in their own right.
Okay.
So what do I like about him? I really like how he like the story, of somebody gaining powers, right? And it's like completely out of their control. Is told a lot. And I think they did a really good job of the way he gained his powers. It didn't feel very forced, like, the Scarab attaches to him and like he the way he has to learn the powers is like having to like learn to communicate with this other creature, basically.
Oh.
And I really like that about him. And then on top of that, like the struggle he has with like getting rid of his powers is like when he at times wants to, but like he never knows if getting rid of the scarab will kill him or not, right?
Yeah.
And so that's why like he's stuck with it, but he's not necessarily stuck with it, but he kind of is, you know.
Okay.
And I really like that part of it as well. And then, I mean, his powers are super cool. He's insanely powerful. He can basically create any weapon.
Mm-hmm.
He can withstand insane amounts of beatings and energy and all that. He can direct it back at you. He can, he's really fun that way. And I love. I've read one Blue Beetle comic and then a couple where he shows up in Batman comics, but I really like how the dialogue he has with his suit too, like the way he communicates with it, and like it literally has the ability to completely take over, and like but it learns to respect him and stuff. Anyways, that whole like process of him becoming Blue Beetle is just very unique in that sense, where it's like a relationship.
I just want to say real fast, every time I've seen Blue Beetle in movies and TV shows, he's always used like a staple gun. So
there's that. And then of course in Young Justice he is spectacular.
Yeah, true. He's pretty awesome in that.
Yep. Number 4 for you?
My number 4 is going to actually be Superboy.
Oh.
Specifically, it's actually specifically the one in Young Justice is actually the only one I've actually ever seen. But I actually really enjoy his story in the show, and especially his powers, because he's not like insanely overpowered as Superman is, and I really like that. Like he's part human, part Kryptonian,
right?
And it's very interesting to me, like, and especially the way that he is made he was made in a lab. He doesn't, in a way, he is like Superman because he doesn't have a family really. The only family he has is basically Superman and Lex Luthor, I think.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know the comics if like what his story is in that, but
his really character arc in Young Justice is very, very well done, and like his relationship with Superman is one of my favorite like protege to hero relationships in that show. It's just done so well. The other versions of him in different things are definitely why I wouldn't put him in my list, but that version of him is very well done. I love his character arc. All right, for me, number 4, I have a tie here.
Wait, a tie?
With Raven and Zatanna. I couldn't decide which one's my favorite female hero. They're very similar and very different, where they both have very powerful fathers, right?
Yeah.
One of them's evil, of course.
True.
And I do like that about Raven. Her like the fact that she's very similar to like Silver Surfer in a way, where she's like the herald of this entity that destroys everything, but she at the same time is trying to save the world. But also she's very similar to like in her powers of like a Scarlet Witch, right? Which I very enjoy both those characters, and so like the little combination is pretty cool. I really like her powers. Her like the mental aspect of her powers is really interesting. Then like when they do a good job, and I haven't read any comics with her, but in the shows and movies and stuff, when they do a good job of like showing her internal struggle, I think her character is really good. When they just like show her doing things, her character definitely struggles. And that's why like the only live action version I've seen of her in the Titans it was kind of underwhelming because they didn't want to go into that, or they didn't go into that like the struggle, and then they just dove into it like head first, and it just felt really forced. And and then Zatanna, on the other hand, she is similar but very different in the fact that like she has a very powerful father who just trying to train her, and but withholds from her how powerful she actually is.
Yeah.
And she ends up having to struggle with like the fact that she is so powerful and wasn't ready to be that powerful, and that's really fun. I really like how like humble she is. She's for how powerful is. I love her humility and like that when that's shown well, and she's a really fun character. And of course, my favorite episode ever of a DC show is when with her in it when Batman has to sing at the end.
Oh.
The greatest episode of a DC show. It is so good. Anyways,
All right.
she's so good in that episode. All right, what's next for you?
All right. My number 3 is going to be Nightwing.
Okay.
First off, I will say I like.
So wait. Is this? Are you saying Nightwing or are you saying
Dick Grayson.
Dick Grayson?
Dick Grayson.
Okay.
Nightwing / Robin, Dick Grayson.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. I love Dick Grayson.
Mm-hmm.
First, he was the first Robin. Nightwing, he's a great character.
Yep.
I love him. I love a lot of the jokes / quips, I guess.
Yep.
And that he talks through. I love it. I loved him, and I loved most of the scenes with him in Young Justice. Again, coming from the guy who's like barely read any comics.
Yeah.
Like the only comics I've read has been old Superman and like 1 or 2 comics of Batman.
Yeah.
So I don't know how he is in the comics, but in like Young Justice and stuff like that, he's fun.
He's fantastic.
He's great, especially in the movies. I loved him as Nightwing in those movies. Which also goes to I'm excited for the video game.
Yeah. Why I did not put him in my top 5 is because I didn't want to delve too much into the Batman, because like if I put him in, then I have to put Tim Drake in it. If I put Tim Drake in, I have to put David Wayne in it.
Yeah.
My whole top 5 is just Batman characters at that point. So
Yeah.
I decided to not put any of the Robins in. But yes, they all are really well done, and he is my favorite Robin, and as Nightwing is such a good character. When done well, like his differences from Batman and everything, really like show so well and really build both their characters up really well. When done poorly, not so much, but yes, he is a fantastic character.
Yeah, he's a great character.
And his backstory is so good.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I love Death in the Family when they
Oh.
through that the first time, and then of course there's Death in the Family, the more famous comic, but that's okay. We'll get to that in a couple of characters. And my number 3 is Martian Manhunter.
Oh. And why is that?
Because I know I've never read a Martian Manhunter comic or a comic with Martian Manhunter in it. I love Justice League TV show, and he is so good in that.
That's true.
He's so good and I really like his character because he comes in as like the last of his race, right? He comes in trying to warn Earth about this incoming threat and trying to help them stop this incoming threat. Successfully does that, and then just kind of like takes this backseat just to like for the better. He knows he's powerful enough to go on the front lines and fight right alongside Superman, but he chooses to set that aside and allow them to do that because he is so good at coordinating, especially with his telepathic powers and whatnot. He uses that part because he knows he's the best at that, and that's where he's needed. He sets aside Eddie. He's very humble and sets that aside to coordinate all of the Justice League. And I really liked that in him. And then the more like I learned about him and who he was, and his powers are so cool. All of his powers are super fun, whether it be his telepathy, his telekinesis, his facing ability, his what's it called? Molecular manipulation. And of course his weakness to the color of yellow. But
well, I think his weakness is more like
heat, but
yeah.
Extreme heat, yes. if you watch the Justice League TV show, you'd get my joke. But and then I think that's why. And it was just like, I don't know, his character. I really like one of my favorite show episodes is when we see him like living his life as John Jones.
Yeah.
And just like, I don't know, it really struck me of like who he, like him just wanting to be a normal person, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And like he has the ability to do that because he can shapeshift and be a human, but like once again choosing not to for the betterment of humanity. It's just a really cool story.
Yeah. All right. Well, my number 2 is going to be Batman.
Okay.
This is difficult to do because, it's Batman. How can you put him at number 2, right?
Yeah, how can you put him at number 2? I'd love to hear this.
The reason is, number 1 is it just nothing seems to stop Batman, but that's not necessarily true. Like, Batman has been stopped, but he's just been able to overcome it, basically.
Right.
But that's kind of why. I don't know. I just felt like Batman was like the human version of Superman.
Okay.
Like, Batman is like prepared for anything, even if it's not an actual threat.
Right.
So that, and just him not having that type of struggle as like other heroes have. I'm more of the type who likes a hero who struggles with fighting with a being that they never fought before. Okay. Yeah, I'm not saying he hasn't done that. This is hard to explain. But I like Batman. I like all his gadgets and his way of like intimidating people and stuff, especially in Batman Brave and the Bold. Yeah. But just not fully my type of hero, but yeah, he does deserve at least in the top 3 for me.
Okay.
What's your number 2?
My number 2 is the Red Hood.
Okay,
and I know people are out there saying Red Hood's a villain. No. The Red Hood is a Batman villain at one point, but he was always a hero. Yes, he was more of an anti-hero in the fact that he would, do bad things to make what he considered the good end possible, and wouldn't choose the always altruistic right way of doing things. But anyways, all that to be said, he is a hero, and always, I think, just chose the wrong way sometimes to go about it. Anyways, and he also, wanted revenge on Batman, so he tried to get that. But I really like him because if you just like think of the way he came into be, right? Fans literally voted for him to die, and so they decided to kill him off in the comics. Like he wasn't doing great as Jason Todd Robin, right? So they decided to kill him off in the comics. Mm-hmm. But then they choose to bring him back in this amazing storyline that we won't get too much into because I'm sure there's people out there that haven't read it.
Yeah.
And they bring him back, and they do such a good job of keeping his personality while changing it and morphing it into this new character that just is super, super well written. And then all these depictions of him that have been done since then are everyone fantastic. And on top of that, yes, he is Batman. He's very similar to Batman. But he's just like Batman that's like taken it a little too far, right? Mm-hmm. He's Batman that's willing to kill people, willing to do the dirty work to make the bad people pay. And that's who he really grows into as a character. And that's why he has his battles with Batman here and there. But he also has just really good stories of his own fighting crime. And I don't mind a vigilante who is willing to, kill.
Ouch.
I don't mind that. I understand why certain characters choose to do it certain ways, but I very much enjoy that. I mean, some people deserve to die, and if Red Hood's willing to do it for them.
All right, I think we just found our live action actor for Red Hood.
Anyways, that is why he is number 2.
All right. All right.
Yeah, I'm willing to argue that with anybody.
Okay. Now, time for my number 1 that's
All
going
right.
to really surprise you.
I'm sure it will.
John Constantine.
Okay.
When I first saw him on screen,
Yep.
I love this character.
Yeah.
First off, I loved his accent. Just the way he talked was great. I loved how he kept getting mad at everybody.
Yeah.
It was great. Like, this character was amazing. And then when I watched the John Constantine movie,
Yep.
I absolutely loved him in it. Like, he's just this drunk guy who doesn't want to save anybody, but then he's just kind of pushed into it to save people. Of course, it wasn't the best movie, but it was. I enjoyed Constantine in it. Like, I like Constantine. I loved John Constantine. He's great. And then especially in the last Avengers Justice League movie, I forget what it's called. Justice League, when they fight Darkseid and they lose. I don't know if you've seen it. Have you seen it?
I've not seen it. It's called isn't it called Justice League Darkseid?
I think so. Justice League Darkseid or something like that. John Constantine is actually the main character in that. Nice. Or at least he's either the main character or just side by side to the main character. And he's really amazing in it. Like, he has given up, and then he's like, people come up to him, he's like, "Hey, you're alive, help us." And then he's like, doesn't want to help, and then he's like, "Oh, fine, I'll help."
Right.
And it's great. I love it.
Yeah.
And then also, not only that, the house that he's in is great. That's how it just kicks him out of his own house.
Yeah.
So his relationships is great. Like, I think that's what really makes the character.
Yeah, the way he interacts with people is fantastic. His his utter disregard for humans. It's just like, he's seen so much. Like, he's just like, they're not even worth saving sometimes, you know. Yeah, he is a very intriguing character for sure.
Yeah. He's my favorite DC character so far. So,
all right. Well, not that I disagree with you, but you're wrong. The greatest DC character is clearly Batman.
Hey, I didn't say he was the greatest. He's my favorite.
Yes, well, your favorite should not be your favorite. No. No. There's just a little recency bias there. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, I haven't seen those movies in a long time. Okay.
Batman is my favorite DC character.
Is that a surprise to anybody? No.
It shouldn't be. And there's like everything about him I love. In, like, whether it be the fact that he has no powers, the fact that he's, uses his wits, but also the fact that there is this lore about him that he is impossible to defeat, right?
Yeah.
And I love, like, arguing that with people. I love that even exists. That, like, should not exist, but it does, and it just makes for such a great character. Like, he always has a way out. And they use that so well, even playing on it in the comics, right? In the TV shows, when, like, he has a contingency plan to kill every one of the Justice League if need be.
Yeah.
And it's been memed about. It's just so good. The whole lore is so amazing. And then on top of that, his comics are so well written for the most part. Of course, they have their ups and downs.
Yeah.
And every depiction of him has had its good parts and its bad parts, right? Like, he's always entertaining. And he is very serious, but he can be played in more of a lighter way. I prefer it when he's more serious, but I love the dark, gritty part of it. I like the intellectual stimulation part of it. I like the detective. I like the fighting. He is, like, through and through, just like the epitome of what, like, hero is in my mind, and that has been shaped by the fact that I have enjoyed reading his comics so much. Yes, but at the same time, like, there's a reason for that, in my opinion, and. Yeah, that is why I think he is.
I feel like I don't even know you anymore. All I hear is Red Hood this, Red Hood that. Now Batman.
Red Hood has his flaws, and so does Batman. But yes,
All right.
Batman edges him out in my favorite heroes.
All right. Well, that just about does it for our top five.
Yep. You can leave some comments flaming at us for not picking your favorite hero, and leave a list of yours if you have that. And let's move on to Miss Marvel and Obi-Wan Kenobi.
And this is actually the final episode of Obi-Wan Kenobi. Dun, dun, dun. All right. So, Obi-Wan Kenobi and Miss Marvel.
Yeah, let's get started. What will you want to get on Obi-Wan here? I'm sure you have plenty to say.
Oh, I have so much to say. Let's start with how that one Inquisitor, what's her name, was on Tatooine.
Yeah, what about it?
So stupid. So dumb. Like, why do we need to...
I don't know.
Like...
I didn't get her character arc at all.
Yeah, like...
It just makes no sense.
It's dumb. I will admit, though, in that episode, Darth Vader and Obi-Wan fight was really cool.
I like the aspects of the fight. I will say I did very much enjoy the dialogue between them afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
It was maybe the one good bit of dialogue the entire show.
Yeah.
But the fight was pretty good.
Mm-hmm. What about whole Leia's temper tantrum?
Oh my gosh.
That was terrible.
It just is so poorly done.
And also there is never any sign of that holster ever showing up in the original trilogy.
Well, what do you mean? What holster does she have?
I'm guessing Padme's holster? I have no idea why this holster has to come into play. I don't understand it. And why does Obi-Wan have
where is she going to put Lola?
Hate that droid now. Oh my goodness. And then just the fact that going back to that Inquisitor going after Luke Skywalker.
Yep.
When she enters the home, they're blasting her and doing all this stuff to her. Yep. And then there's so many times she could have just taken those two out.
Yeah, I completely agree. There was like no reason for her not to, and it just felt so ridiculous because she's going somewhere where she cannot kill anybody.
Mm-hmm.
None of them can die.
Yeah,
because we know that they exist later on.
Yep.
And so they had to change the whole tone of her coming there just to keep them alive, and then they still do this whole scene where, is he okay?
Yeah.
What? And then on top of that, we know that, on Leia's side, right? We know she and her parents can't die or anything, and they can't. But these people come to kidnap her. Yeah. But then they're just going to apparently leave her alone the whole rest of the time until episode 4. He just brings her back to exactly where she got kidnapped from. Yeah. And apparently, and they don't learn anything. There's literally no character arc in their story at all. It just starts and ends at the exact same place. And then, except, maybe she's slightly more mature in the fact that she actually listened to her parents and came out there instead of running away, I guess. There's that little bit. But, but they, don't change anything. They do talk about how the Empire is growing more out of control and all this stuff, but they're not changing, they're not joining the rebel, they're not doing anything against the Empire. Trying to change it in his head or whatever. It's it's ridiculous. And then we know Obi-Wan's not going to die, or Darth Vader's not going to die in their fight. So it just felt very like there were no stakes at all.
Yeah, exactly. Well, why don't we go ahead and talk about the two moments that really, really bugged me.
Okay.
Moment number one is when Obi-Wan comes back to Alderaan, which makes no sense at all. I don't understand. Shouldn't he stay away from them because they shouldn't be seen together? I understand maybe the first part of it, but the first time when Bail Organa comes to Tatooine, but then he goes to Alderaan and he's talking with Leia. Nice. But that's not even the big problem. That's not the big problem. I'm getting way off track here. The moment he's talking to Leia, and he's like, Leia, we must never tell anybody of what has happened. We must never let anybody know that we know each other. You're basically just trying to fix something that's already broken.
Right. It's like we created this whole series, but we don't want it to actually exist because it ruins so many things.
Yeah, exactly. It was just terrible. And
Yeah.
this next one isn't so bad because honestly I knew it was coming, but I didn't want it to come, is the whole Qui-Gon Jinn part.
Right.
So in the Clone Wars, they even specifically say Qui-Gon Jinn never learned the ability to show himself as a Force
Right.
ghost. He was only ever able to talk to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so annoying. Like, yes, he did show himself as a Force ghost a couple times in the Clone Wars, but that was only because the place they went to was so strong in the Force.
Yeah. And that was such a bad payoff, too, in the fact that, like, this whole series, Obi-Wan has been, like, trying to communicate with him.
Yeah.
And then he just shows up.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I've been here the whole time. And it's like...
Oh, man.
It just felt so lame.
Yeah, exactly. It was terrible.
Yeah. It's like... So, to sum up the show, it is very unnecessary.
Mm-hmm.
It has some cool aspects to it, or some cool scenes, I should say. But I feel like the three things it does very badly are, number one, it doesn't pay very good homage to the original trilogy or to the prequels, which I don't like, but yeah. It doesn't pay good homage to Obi-Wan character.
Mm-hmm.
And the character arc of his character throughout it is so flat that we don't learn anything really about him. It tries to force some things, but we don't really learn who he is. And then the dialogue is so bad that it takes away from like any, like even like the moment I'm saying, like the good dialogue at the end of the fight with him, like it felt just so out of place.
Exactly.
It was kind of sad because I was like, this is actually a pretty good scene, and it just feels off, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I just recommend, if this is your first time hearing about Obi-Wan Kenobi, don't watch it, please.
Yeah. I will say, visually, once again, Darth Vader looked spectacular. The final shot zooming out of his
I'll just say that
throne room was spectacular. The shot with the two lightsabers crossed, glowing through his visor, was super cool.
Oh yeah, that was really cool. Yeah. But other than that, like, terrible show.
All right. Anything else you want to say about it? You want to give this a certified back and forth rating?
Is a 0 a possibility?
0 out of 100.
Yeah, 0 out of 100 for me. I'm sorry, it's just that bad.
Yeah, I would give it out of 100. I'd give it a 10. It's okay. It's better than a 0. But
okay. If you're giving it a 10 because of the Darth Vader scenes, I can actually understand that. Like,
yeah, like, and this is like how good I think it is, right? Like that's like our rating, right? It's not how much like if I was saying how much I enjoyed it just because I enjoyed some of the scenes so much, I'd give it a higher rating. But how good it is, it's a 10 out of 100.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, if people want to know real fast why I give it a 0 is because this is the one Star Wars show that I've watched that where I am like now questioning if I should continue following Star Wars.
Yeah. I'm sorry that you had to live through it. All right. Shall we move on to Miss Marvel episode 3?
Let's get this over with.
All right. Thoughts?
I honestly have no idea what to think of it. Like, the fight scene was so janky.
Yeah.
And not only that, what was it? What scene was it where the camera was just shaking nonstop?
Yeah, it literally, and I'd say both shows had this problem with the camera work where it couldn't decide what type of camera work it wants to do.
Yeah.
It can't decide what perspective it wants to show. It can't decide if it wants to be like moving, standing still, whether it's like steady cam, shaky cam. It can't decide any of those things, and it just makes for everything to feel So
I was honestly getting a little nauseous
yeah.
from watching this. But, oh,
Yeah, and I think that kind of goes to the whole show in the fact that it's not just the camera work that it's that way. It's
Yeah.
like characters from scene to scene will just be completely different characters. It's like
Yeah.
they don't have a steady arc of who they're supposed to be. The camera work will be different. The music will be so different from scene to scene. Like the camera or the song, the soundtrack when she's first is running away from them.
Yeah.
It was really good.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
then they just throw it away when the
Yeah,
fight
I know.
scene
I was
starts.
so confused.
Yeah.
I was like,
And like when they go, and then when they like go back into the whole like sneaking around in the dark, it kind of came back a little bit. I was like, why wasn't this going the entire time?
Exactly.
Building on it as the fight build, right? But
Mhm.
instead, it was just like, oh, we'll do this. Sounds cool, and then all right, let's throw that away for another song and this scene, and throw that away for another song. It's like it's the same way their characters are. It's like if you could literally see like her mother or father or I'd say everyone except Bruno in any scene and just be like, is that the same person?
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
like they are so different every time. And it's not just like the character, but it's the actors do not do a good job of portraying them. And it's probably hard with a script like that, but
yeah.
it's like their whole mannerisms change and the way they talk to each other and like what they care about changes. And it's the same like you were saying with the villains, right? Like they're just like all safer and stuff, and then they're like, oh wait, these are villains, so they're like, we can't wait.
It was only like a
12
day.
hours. Yeah, it's like the
Exactly.
next day. It'd been like 12 hours or whatever. And they're like,
It was
already
so
done.
stupid.
yeah.
Yeah, and
And what set her off? Him saying, "Focus on the wedding." Like it
yeah.
was like, no, she must drop everything in her life and come help us. You
Yeah.
know, like they didn't tell her she needed to do that,
they don't even show like what set her off,
or try to convince her to do any. Like they never told
Yeah,
her like this has
exactly.
to happen now. It's
There-
like,
it was just like, yeah, we need to do this. Okay, well, then find out what you can. We'll get back to you. And then day passes. She's
it's like, kill her. It's like, what? And then like her grandmother, it's like, what the heck is going on with that? Like, oh, and then on top of this, a little of my it's so annoying the way they are now trying to like explain the other dimensional beings and stuff.
Oh,
It's like, what are they now separating multiverse from dimensions?
apparently.
And are they separating like because like Inhumans is what she's supposed to be, and like we figured they're eventually going to bring those in. Like they can totally just make her not an Inhuman, that's whatever, but she's now a part of the Jinns, which in the comics are very, very different. And I never even mentioned this last time, but Bruno, love the kid, but how the heck did he know where the energy was coming from?
That is a good
He's
question.
just like looking at his iPad. It's like, ooh, the energy seems to be coming from inside you. It's like, what? Are you like scanning your body right now? I'm so confused. Anyways,
Yeah.
and then at the start of this one, it was like someone else said that the energy seems coming from within her. It's like, who the heck was that supposed to be? Anyways,
I have no idea.
yeah, the explanation of her powers has been lacking to say the least.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I don't know. I still don't know what triggers her powers. Like is it fear? Like it wasn't.
It seems to be emotion,
and
but
then it's like I thought it drew off of light, but then they turned off all the lights. And I thought that was going to have something to do with it, but then she was still able to wield her powers. And then I thought she was going to be some way related to Captain Marvel, but they're apparently saying this has nothing to do with the Kree. But then there's like that blue arm, but then it like has to do with these Jinns. Then apparently aren't alien. They're from a different dimension. It's just so confusing. It's like tell a simple story that goes in one direction. Doesn't try to grab things from everywhere and throw it together. And
Yeah. Let's also really fast just talk about the one scene with the father and son talking. I feel like that was completely useless to have. I don't understand that scene.
Yeah, he was like, yeah, and she was listening, and I thought there was gonna be something. That,
Yeah, I thought there was going to be something important.
And he was just like, she was just like, "Oh, family," and then the whole like, you have two choices, love or fear, and you choose family. Like, what? Yeah, thanks, Dad.
So confusing.
I was so confused. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I thought that was all gonna lead up to her also at the end, like telling her family.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
it's like she's family. It's all about family. And then she's like, I can't tell you. And then what's her face coming in and just like plopping on the bed and it's like acting all depressed, like, oh, this is so bad. DODC came. I won. It's like what? Like what the heck? Also, are the DODC the most oblivious human beings in the entire universe? Are these visors literally like they're blind moves, not visors?
I was so confused because how did Bruno and her escape full of a room with people in it that seems to be looking in their general direction?
They're like, there's 4 people here, right? That's it. Like, what the heck? And they just like hobble out, like they didn't even have to like go out, like run, and they chase them. It was like they just kind of like hobbled out. And they were like,
and then also here's another question: how did the parents know that she was with them?
Yeah, and then the parents are like I don't know. It was so confusing.
Yeah, they just tried to make it work and just failed.
Yeah. All right. Well,
moving on to upcoming for Back and Forth, which is better.
Yeah.
So you should be listening to this.
All righty. All right. Let's get into upcoming for Star Wars and Marvel. What do you got for us, Gecko Mount?
Oh, I'm supposed to start. Okay.
You usually do. We can change it up if you'd like.
Start with what exactly? I haven't gotten it. There's been nothing.
Well, I don't got much for Marvel either, so.
Thing is, I expect us to put this recording out.
And something comes. Well,
something comes out.
Well, that happens sometimes.
Yep, but of course, I'll just say what's coming out in the later.
This year.
Yeah, later this year. So we're gonna be getting Bad Batch season 2.
Right.
We're gonna get Andor.
Do we have a release date for any of these?
None that I could find.
Okay.
But I will look at it again. Stay tuned for our after party on Friday, and I will mention those. Then we're getting Mandalorian season 3. We will be getting Andor if I haven't already said that. We will be getting Tales of the. I will be streaming a game that I haven't decided on yet, so it will be a surprise for you and for me, actually.
Alrighty. Well, then let's get into Marvel.
Alright.
So nothing new really got announced. I think I mentioned that we weren't sure if they were going to be at the San Diego Comic-Con because it was a couple weeks before D23 that's coming in September 19th, right?
I think so. Yeah, I think that's what you said.
But there were some leaks of images of a booth that they're going to have there. So they're probably not going to do a big old, release like they did in 2019 since they want to probably save that for their own show. But there might be some trailers released around that time. So late August, we might be getting some news a little sooner than we thought. And then Kevin Feige had an interview where he said that stuff's coming soon. So pretty excited.
All right.
Pretty excited to get to see that.
Continue.
The one new thing that was announced that I am quite excited for is Spider-Man No Way Home is getting re-released this fall in theaters. We can go watch it again, and there's going to be 5 new scenes.
Ooh. We have to see it.
So I looked. I don't think there's a release date yet, but based on the fact that tickets will be going on sale August 9th, I believe, means it's probably coming late September to early October.
Okay.
Usually they come out, just over a month before the movie comes out. So I'm guessing it'll be released late September, early October.
All right.
Pretty excited to go watch that. So that's the biggest new thing. And then the I'm guessing final trailer for Thor: Love and Thunder got released. Like kind of, it was more of a what was it called? What's it called when they like interview the cast and stuff? But yeah, like behind the scenes and stuff. So there's some new footage. Like it was basically a whole new trailer, but there was also like interviews with talking about their characters and stuff. Most notably, we saw more of Olympus and like what in that like city.
Okay.
And like what I think how I think it's probably gonna happen there, and like how like the gods kind of fit into it. We didn't get any more looks at gore.
I do have one question though.
Yeah.
And I do have a confession to make.
Oh, not again.
Yeah, there was a trailer. I was watching this video, okay, and the trailer just popped up. I saw Gore again. Thankfully, it was just Gore because I've already seen him. But I do have one question though: is Gore going to be like bigger, or is he going to be the same about normal like human size? Or is he going to be like taller?
I think he'll be like about the same height as Thor.
Okay. Because I was wondering, because there was just the scene I saw him, he looked really tall. And I don't know if that was just what the trick of the eye. I
don't know. I'm not sure. Based on what I've seen, I think he's going to be pretty much normal.
Okay.
God height. Not. I mean, like it looks like in the God realm, there's gods that are very, very tall. But anyways.
Okay. So we're gonna see a tiny Gore attacking like maybe one of the gods.
We might. I mean, I think a lot of them are gonna die, so we might see a normal size.
Any more confirmation on like the Egyptian gods?
So there's a shot in Olympus where we do see more like of like the background, and like there's a lot of gods. It looks like in the background. None of them I could necessarily put as like there wasn't conscious. Like there's none that I recognized right away. There's a couple that are in the comics version of what oh my goodness, what's it called? I want to see Tribune of Gods, but that's not right. But anyways, the like conglomeration of gods that like look at like things going on in the multiverse and judge it and whatnot. Actually in our universe. But anyways, and there's a couple that look like they could be like the Aztec god, Mayan god that they use in that. This one that looks like the Russian one, but none that look like Khonshu or.
Well, I'm not asking if Khonshu was in. I was just asking.
I know, but what was the one that the guy like acted like he was like really in charge of?
I forget.
I can't remember. But anyways, that god didn't look like it was there. But anyways, there were some that we saw.
Okay. Anything about like maybe the tribunal or
yes,
maybe the Watcher?
Yep.
I don't know why that.
There's stuff about them.
Okay. So stuff. That's good to know.
I don't want to give anything away, but
so I'm assuming there's something big that you saw with the tribunal, or at least maybe a group.
There's a lot of rumors about like what's exactly going on with the tribunal.
Okay, but he is confirmed to be in the movie.
Yeah. Well, no. No. I'm gonna say no. He's not confirmed to be in the movie. I think he will be. But definitely not confirmed.
All right.
But we'll talk more about my expectations and stuff next week. Is it already next week?
I think so.
Oh my goodness. It's 2 weeks away, guys.
Hold on.
I'm so excited.
Hold on. We are going to take a look at this because I actually want to know now.
Oh no. It's 2 weeks away. We'll talk about upcoming production.
Yep, July 7th.
Right. But anyways, we'll talk about my expectations in a couple of weeks, and I'll get into. I have like I did for Multiverse Madness. I have like exactly what I think will happen when, based on what I've seen in the trailers. So
I'm gonna have some heavy questions about this.
All right, but yeah, I don't want to give anything away too much yet. We still have not gotten the Wakanda Forever trailer.
What the news?
I know, it's literally Thor: Love and Thunder all over again.
Watch it. Oh, they might.
I think it will come out this week.
Yeah. Are they gonna?
I think a teaser trailer will, and the official trailer will come out when Thor: Love and Thunder comes out.
Okay.
But yeah, that comes soon.
Maybe it'll be a trailer, like as an end credit scene.
But yeah, we did get a shot from like the making of it, and it shows what's his sister's name?
Okoye?
No, it shows Okoye with his sister.
Oh, his sister. That's right.
Shuri.
Shuri.
Shuri and Okoye at MIT, I think.
MIT.
And I think they're going there because Ironheart's there. Anyways, that's my theory.
I'm actually a little excited to see Ironheart show up.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited for Armor Wars at least. That should be a fun show.
But first, why don't we stay with the movie that's
so that's all I've got for upcoming for Marvel, I believe. I don't think I'm forgetting anything. But so Miss Marvel's got 4 episodes left. How many have we watched?
2.
Yeah, 4 episodes left, and then Thor: Love and Thunder. Then I Am Groot and She-Hulk will be coming.
I'm sorry,
August.
3. We watched 3.
Anyways, we got some episodes left, and but for back and forth, next week we will be doing Thor versus Black Adam.
That's right. Even
So-
though Black Adam was pushed.
Yeah, but we are going to do that because those are 2 of the movies coming out this year. Different universes. We'll get Gecko Man will get the chance to dive into the DC universe and learn about Black Adam.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting.
And I will
I'm honestly really excited about
bring
this
my
fight.
Thor knowledge and see what happens. Yeah, it's going to be a really fun one. I know a good amount about Black Adam, but I don't know enough about him to know how he would react, like how he would handle Thor's power.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely going to do some research into that, and that should be really fun. And we will see you all next week.
Don't put yourselves inside a box. Jedi. I believe that's coming out next year, though. Not exactly sure. And then, of course, Ahsoka, which a trailer has sort of been released.
A little teaser.
Yeah. Not really a trailer. It's more like a bad, gritty version of it.
First look.
Yeah, first look. So those are the things coming out. No confirmed dates yet. None that I can tell. I'm pretty sure I'm just missing something.
Well,
But we will find out. Yeah.
Yep.
Again, just keep your ears open and then listen for after.
before I forget, does Gecko Man have any streams coming this week?
Oh, that's right. I haven't done a stream in a couple weeks. So forgive me. Yes, I will actually be streaming this Thursday. Well, tomorrow, but